Good Friday morning intro to art. I apologize, this is take two for video wise. I just shot a really, I thought, a pretty decent video. It wasn't very long. It only took, I think, about 8 minutes when I remember looking at the timer. And when I went to go save it and put it up online, I couldn't find it. Hopefully, throughout the rest of the day today, I'll do some scouring on my computer and on my laptop to locate it. So stay tuned to see whether or not I can update the blog post, but basically I'll summarize everything that I did. If you're walking in today, since it is a half day, there's not a lot that I can have you guys jump into. Yesterday, in yesterday's class, I had you guys create the basic color wheel. I'll put this over here, right? The basic color wheel. And if you weren't here in yesterday's class or during yesterday's class, then you're going to want to grab a sheet of watercolor paper from the guest teacher and go through the video from yesterday and just make sure, jot down, you could even look at somebody else's at your table to make sure that you've got everything organized the way it needs to be organized. Now, I do recommend this, and I stress this in the video. Don't use Sharpie marker to do this. I did because I wanted the camera to be able to pick it up, but for you guys it's going to work a lot easier, especially if you make mistakes, to work in pencils. So make sure that you guys are working with the right material here. Now the watercolor paper is a bit thicker, so I mean, if you weren't here, if you grab a sheet of paper from the guest teacher, if there's a stack up here, you should be able to differentiate between whether or not it's regular drawing paper or it's watercolor paper. Now, if we run out, obviously you're stuck doing this in your sketchbook, so make sure that you guys are using the materials wisely. For today's class, I have a little handout. It's actually a full sheet of paper, but there's not really much to do here as much as it is just kind of copying the information and making sure that you're aware of where certain things need to be placed on the back side of your color wheel. Since this paper is so thick, we're going to be actually using both sides. And in the video that I previously shot that I have no idea where it's at right now, I basically just go into detail about how you're going to, which way do I go? This way? This way? I don't know. Anyways, I go into detail explaining how you're going to kind of separate this into a grid, giving you guys 8 boxes, 4 on top, 4 on the bottom, and then just how you want to label the grid with the specific technique that we're going to be working on. So as you walk into class today, make sure that you grab one of these sheets of paper from the guest teacher. Familiarize yourself with it. You can even read the top paragraphs if you want. I'm going to be going over it anyways in class when we get back next week. But here I've got sort of a very poor version since it's printed in black and white. But most importantly, what you'll see down here is the labeling that you need to have or that you need to copy over in the boxes here. For example, like the first box here is labeled wet wash, or no, I'm sorry, wet on wet, even wash, and then at the bottom portion it says salt added to lower half. You don't necessarily have to draw a line through that. I just wanted to make sure you guys are aware that we're going to be doing one technique in this whole box, but then we're going to be adding a different texture down here towards the bottom. Okay. Again, I apologize for such a really quick, rude video. I had one that was a little bit more in-depth and probably walked you through the paces that I'm going to try to locate today, but since it's a half day and time is kind of really crunched down here, I'm going to leave you guys with this information. I think it's pretty simple to figure out what you guys need, and then when we come back to class next week, we're going to be working right away with watercolor, so hopefully you guys will have this all set up. Of course, there's going to be some people that don't have it set up, and those are the ones that are going to be unfortunately left in the dust or left trying to catch up. So I would urge your classmates to make sure that they get this stuff all handled now while we have time, so that next week we're not waiting for people to jot down ideas and things like that. If you guys are going to work off of each other, make sure that you've got the right information. I'll actually leave this hanging up on the watercolor board right up there so you guys can kind of copy down and check yourself to make sure that everything's in the right spot. But I will see you guys next week. No sketchbook for today because we already did it Wednesday. So see you guys when I get back from the conference. Bye.